Invite me
any
to the server. I'll
stuff,
figure it out.
I'll just be server muting you. So, um,
Right.
Wait,
what's
who
up, Obi?
was that was asking about stuff?
Not sure. Think they left.
No, I banned him.
Oh,
Hello,
Oh, thank
Obi.
you.
What?
wait, look
You
who's
banned
here.
him? Hold on.
No
Who's
way.
getting banned?
Right. I'm here now. I
Oh,
was sorry about that. I was on Italian time because I was on holiday until like yesterday. So I thought it was a 6. It's a 5.
You're good, man. No worries.
Anyway, right. We starting then.
Yeah, we can start. Welcome in,
Right.
everybody. We have Obi here today to talk about his newest disk drive. Hopefully, we can get some general information about disk drives and temps in there as well, just to make it kind of well-rounded. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if we come over here, the idea behind a temp storage is you basically want somewhere that you can store like a bunch of items that you're waiting to merge. So say you've got a partial box. It's got 9 stacks of chests in it, but you want a full box. I should stream. It won't work though. Anyway, say you've got a partial box, you want to merge it. You need somewhere to store it while you're waiting for that pair to arrive. So instead of storing it in one container for each different item type, which is really big, what you do instead is you store it in a chest, so you can store it in a slot in a chest. Issue is that you have to be able to access a specific slot, so you have to have all of the slots filled to keep the order preserved, so that you can actually address a specific slot. If we go
On behalf of Mr. EBL, he asked me to ask you to unban him. What do you even do?
Can we
I have no idea.
keep this on topic for now? Dreamy, we can
Yeah.
address.
He was asking about a slimestone thing. I don't know why he's banned, so maybe a timeout would have been.
Yeah, we can come back to that later, but right now we're on something else.
Yeah. So anyway, you need a way that you can access a specific slot in a chest. So this is what I'm using at the moment. If you look inside all these chests, you basically got 32 slots that can be addressed, the ones with the water bottles in them. Each one of them can have a different item type partial box in it. So it's a really dense way of storing partial boxes that need a pair. This can do 512 different item types because you've got 16 chests with 32 slots, and 16 times 32 is 512. I guess I can show you it working. So if someone would like to pick a chest, literally any chest, and swap one of the water bottles for a shulker box, I'll show you it working. Chest 6, slot 7, yeah. So this is chest 0 over here. I should probably put a sign on it. Chest 0, chest 15. So we've got 0 to 15, not 1 to 16. Basically, if that's chest 0, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is chest 6, and slot 7 will be the 8th slot because
0 as well.
Yeah, because we got 0. So I'll put a shulker box in slot 7 of chest 6. That's a really, really funny number. But basically, to access that box, you need to take out every single item type before it, then that box, and then you need to put everything back in the same order. And that's basically what this does, is it lets you select a single slot in a single chest, take an item out of it, and not change the order of anything else. So I'll just, if you come around the back of the machine now, I'll show you how it works. So it's 512 unique addresses, so that comes out to a 9-bit binary code. It's 2 to the power of 9. This left group of note blocks lets you select the chest, and the group on the right lets you select the slot in the chest. So if we got chest 6 in binary, that's 2 plus 4. And then if we got slot 7 in binary, that's 2 plus 4 plus 1. So these first 3. So we've got the code put in now. The code would be 111000110, but the code's in, and if I press this button, actually, if everyone goes around the front and opens the chest that we were looking at, so it's this one here, then you'll be able to see it in action. So I'm going to activate it now. Press the button, and you can see it's going to take the box out, and it's immediately going to refill all of the other items, and it's going to leave a hole or a gap where that box was. And if we look in this chest down here, the box has been taken out and put in this chest. To put stuff back in it, all you need to do is just throw it in the stopper at the top. It will automatically put it back, and now the drive knows that it's reset now, so you can use it again. But yeah, basically, you can do that for any address in any of these chests. And that's how we do 512 different item types.
Just 32 and 16, 32 different items per 16 chests, right?
Yeah, exactly. So each chest's got... You can use more slots, but it's really hard. It's a lot easier to just do powers of 2, because it's binary. So it's used for a few different things. So the main thing that people would use it for is for storing partial boxes of an item. So let's say you've got a box here with a bunch of droppers in it here, and you want a full box, but you've only got this amount of droppers. So what you would do is you'd find an empty slot, let's say the final slot, actually no, that's going to take ages. Let's say slot 4 in this first chest here at the end. So if I put slot 4 in and then activate it, you can see it's going to make a gap where that slot is. So that slot is now empty in this furthest chest. And then you can put the box in, and it will basically just store that box in that chest, in that slot, sorry. So if you look at the slot now, you can see it's got a box with some droppers in it. But now if you get another box arrive with more droppers in it, you want to merge them. So you need to take the box out of that slot. So to do that, you just put the same code in again, activate it, and now it will take the box out, and it's in this chest down here now. So you've got your box that was stored, and you've got your box that you needed to merge it with. So now you've got 2 boxes, like down here on the floor, and you can merge them together. So it's basically just a way of storing boxes while you wait for another one to merge it with. You can also use it for storing data, but we're going to get onto that later. We're not going to do that now. Yeah, I guess I should sort of explain how we preserve the order of everything. It's basically the first 16 chests, the furthest ones to the right, are for storing items, and this one on the left, if you look at it, is empty. So that chest does not actually store any items in it by default. That chest fills up when you're running the disk drive to preserve the order. So if I run, say we get this last slot in that chest, hang on. Just need to reset it. So that's reset now. Say we want the furthest away slot in one of the chests. If you look in this furthest chest now, you can see it's emptying all of the items out. And if I just tick freeze quickly, If you come around to the other end and look in the chest with the sign on it, the temporary chest, that chest is now filling up. So if you look in that, that's basically just a cache or like a short-term storage for all of the items that you had to go through to get to the one you're interested in. And now, because it's found the item, which if you look in the chest, the item's there, it can reset. So that chest is how we preserve the order, because if you just dump all the items into the dropper elevator, it's going to scramble the order of it. And you need to make sure the order's preserved in case you've got items that you care about in those slots. Right, so that's done. One of the main issues that you'll come across with this is when you take, because we've got one hopper, it's easiest to see actually if you look at this from the side. So where I am, because we've only got one hopper, if you take an item out of the chest with the hopper, so you take the item out that you're interested in, the item's in the hopper, it's not in the dropper line to be collected. So you need to activate the hopper again to let the hopper put it into the dropper line. But when the hopper pushes out the item that you want, it's going to pull another item out that you don't want. So to do that, we've got this dummy item in the hopper. And you'll notice when I activate the drive, if I just put in, say, we're going to do slot 7 in that chest. If you all look inside that first chest 0, see if I activate it, it takes the first item out and then pauses, and then it does the rest of them. And the reason it does that is because there's an item in the hopper, like a dummy item, that's never going to be anything. You're never going to store a box there. It's just a dummy item. And that is basically taken out so that it basically just takes up the slot in the hopper. And when you activate it, it sort of takes that item out, sends it to the front to prime the system. And then as soon as the item that you care about has been taken out of the chest, we put that dummy item back into the chest so that instead of pulling an item we care about, it pulls the dummy item out. Yeah, exactly. So actually, if you look in the chest, I'm gonna quickly reset it, and then I'm gonna put a box in slot 7 of that chest. So if you look in the chest, there's a box in it. I'm gonna call that box now. So that's slot 7, and I'm gonna start calling it now. Sorry, this chest's over here at the back. Yeah, you can see if I'm going to just tick step to go through it slowly. When it takes out that box, you can see it's just taken the box out of the chest now. So if I tick step, 1 game tick. Yeah, if I've ticked step 1 more game tick, you can see if you look in the first slot in the chest, it's put that dummy item back in the chest. So that instead of pulling the next item we care about out of the chest, it's just going to take the dummy item out. So that's how we pull only the item that we want and not the one after it. You can also do it with a second hopper, but this is better. This was Crane's idea to do it that way. It's very smart. Yeah, that's basically the functionality of it. Lets you take items out, store items in their place, access any slot that you want. I guess what I'll do now is show you sort of a stripped down version of it. So if you come to where I am now, this is actually, should I do this one first? No, let's do this one here. So all the way on the right, where I am now, this is sort of the basic layout of it. So we've got a chest here. This is where we store the items. Got the hopper to take stuff out, a drop line to bring everything to the front, a drop line at the top to take everything back. Yeah, the comp read is to detect the chests have all reset properly. I'll go into that in a moment because that's an important feature. I think that if you don't have that, you're missing out. And then we've got a bunch of torches here that sort of let you select a slice. So if the torch is powered, the dropper line will stop at that slice. If we come one thing over, this is it sort of a bit more built up. So we basically got all of the inputs to power the dropper lines. We've got the redstone dust here for the red coder to select a slice. And this green circuit is for detecting that everything's reset properly. So this is sort of like the core stuff of it. And then you have to do more wiring, obviously, to make it work. Is there anything that anyone wants me to go over specifically just before I continue?
Just kind of quickly, I'm curious how you arrived at. I know there's obviously many different ways to do like temporary storage. Disk drive is kind of like one of the original ones. I'm curious, like, what your thought process is for choosing disk drive as a mode of temp, and there's also RAM.
Yeah, so it's basically disk drive is super compact compared to any other sort of temp storage because you need individually addressable slots. So these ones give you 512 different slots that you can access. If you were to do that with like a dropper per item type or whatever, that's going to be really, really big.
Yeah.
And it's also going to have a lot of hoppers in it. So this has like 30 something hoppers, like 35 hoppers for 512 items. So it's a lot of items in a really small space with a very low amount of hoppers. And the reason I need it to be small and to have so few hoppers is because I'm using it for main storage. So if you look at this tower of disk drives on the left, this is 2048 individual addresses. So you can use this as a temp storage for 2048 item types. If you're going to do that with any other form of temp storage, it would be massive. And it would have a lot of hoppers. It'd have like 2,000 hoppers, which is more than the whole rest of the storage. Why 4 9-bit ones? It's just easier. So with a 16 block long temp like this, dust can only go 15 blocks. So if you've got an observer and dust, that lets you basically make an instant wire just really easily. If you're going to do an 11-bit temp, so 4 times the length of this, it would be a lot harder to actually make that all instant, and it'd be a lot harder to select a slice because you'd have to use binary or a complicated hex decoder. This is quite easy because you can just use dust. And also I prefer stacking stuff vertically to stacking it horizontally because it's just easier to fit in places. Like if you've got a template that's the same length as your chest tool, that's a bit like not ideal. This is actually fairly compact for what it is. And you can stack these all on top of each other as well. So if you look at them, they're in the stack. All of the wiring is on top of the other disk drives. So it's super compact. And by doing it this way, and not just like by having them actually able to sit on top of each other, you can shave like 7 blocks off the height of it. So that's basically why I did 9-bit temps and 4 of them instead of one 11-bit one, because it's fairly compact and it's a lot easier than having a 64 block long temp storage, because making 64 block long instant stuff is less easy than you'd expect.
Sounds awful.
Like you can do it, but it's not ideal. guess I should go over some of the circuits in it. So if we look at the main drive here, you can see this lime circuit here on a lime concrete. This is basically to detect that all the chests are reset. So by default, the chests are all full. They've all got an unstackable item in every slot. So when the disk drive is running, the chests are going to dip below signal strength 14. That's going to get detected by this lime circuit, and it's going to prevent the disk drive from running again. The reason to do this is so that if the server crashes, or if you build it wrong, or if someone takes an item out manually, and then the disk drive activates, it's not going to run because it knows that it's not in the correct state. So it makes it a lot easier to fix. What else? This circuit here at the top with all the comparators is basically an adder. So all of the comparators facing into each other, sort of, this one subtracts 1, this one subtracts 2, this one subtracts 4, this one subtracts 8. And this basically just converts it to hex, and then we use that to select a slice. So it's super compact for what it does. And then the slot selection is really cool, actually. That's done with binary. So if you all come over to me here, actually, let me make myself glow 1 sec.
You're going already.
Oh, am I? Didn't think I was.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is basically how we do the timing for it. So this is Crane's 8 game tick binary counter. Basically what it does is you put a binary code in it, and it will count down from whatever you put in at hopper speed. So if you want to count to the 30-second slot in the chest, you put every single lamp on, and then you let the thing run, and it will basically count down in binary. So whatever number you put into the counter, that's the slot that it will address in the chest. It's a really nice way of doing it. It's a lot nicer than having to use signal strength counters or something. Yeah, it's super clean. If you were going to do it in older versions, which people like Optic have done, yeah, exactly. So this one here is a version that has a piston. Not a piston, has a bunch of pistons. So instead of counting down the copper bulbs, it uses pistons for the toggle state. It works the exact same way, really. It's just
Different.
more
toggle.
pistons, more flashing dust. It is bigger. Yeah, just the copper bulb one is really, really nice. It does flash a bit, but not enough to actually light suppressor or anything, so it's fine. Yeah, that's basically how we select a slot. So you've got the 4-bit sort of binary to hex thing that selects a slice, and then the 5-bit hopper speed binary counter that selects a slot. Should I go over next? Has anyone got any questions they want me to go over?
I was gonna say, I think I'd be curious if you could just kind of like compare the binary counter implementation versus your old disk drive, which has
Sure.
X counter.
Yeah, so this big one here that's twice the height is my old one. It doesn't work quite the same because this one can only be used as a temp. It can't be used as an item memory. But basically for this, I was doing it the other way around. So in the old one, I was using binary for slice selection and hex for slot selection. This is actually the opposite of what you want to do, because binary decoders are huge. So you can see this rail grid here. This is Crane's 4-bit binary decoder. You can expand it to like 10 bits or whatever. But here we just need 4 bits because we've got HS. That's massive compared to a red coder. And then for slot selection, we've actually got comparator faders. So instead of a binary counter that counts down hopper speed, you give it the slot as a hex value, and then it will count down the hex value at hopper speed, which is probably a bit less laggy because it's just comparators looping instead of dust flashing. But it's quite big. It's not as clean. So this is the opposite of how you'd want to do it. If you were going to do it yourself, the easiest way to do it is hex slice selection, binary slot selection. I guess I can show you this old one working just because it is quite nice. This old one only works as a temp storage. So if I'm gonna, what am I gonna do? If I put in 10101001, that's the code which will select something. Don't know. Let's give it a go. So that has selected this chest here. And you can see this. Yeah, it is quite nice to be fair. This works as an actual temp storage. So you can see it's put the box in the slot automatically. I don't have to do anything to it. And then if I want to go and merge it, it's going to check if that item in that slot is a box, and it will output both of them. So I've put the new box in. You can see it's found the slot. It's going to take the box out, and it will output both of the boxes in these chests on the left. So this is a fully functional, usable temp storage. Like, you give it a box and a code, and it will just do everything for you. It's quite nice, but it is quite big. A nice thing that you can do with the new one is you can actually use it to store data. So if you come over to me now, this is a contraption that turns the binary code into a shulker box. So if you look in this shulker box, it's empty. But what you can do is you can store binary codes in the shulker box using different unstackable items with different properties. So if you use like a shovel or something, basically any unstackable as your 0, you can use a bottle or a potion or something that can go on a brewing stand to represent ones. And you can basically store that in a box. It's super dense binary code memory. So does someone want to put a binary code into the thing using these notebooks? Just any code. Yeah, that'll do. Now, if you all look in the shulker box, it's going to start filling that with the code at 4 game ticks per bit. So I'm going to click the notebook now. And if you look in the hopper, that code that we put into the thing is now saved in the box. You can then read that by using this device over here. Sorry, did I take the item out or did I leave it in? I did leave it in, good. This device here can actually read these boxes and output a binary code. So if I just put some of these here, the code that we're expecting is 010101. Is that? So if the lamp's off, that's a 0. If it's on, that's a 1. I'm going to put the item into the machine now, click the note block, and we've got the code out. The way it basically does this is it'll unload the box and it will try to put every single every item out of the box into this brewing stand. Bottles and things can go in it, other items can't, and it'll detect the item going in the brewing stand. And if it does that, we basically got this. It's basically like a serial receiver, if you know how they work. You've got this top line of observers will power each comparator, and if the item in the box that corresponds with that piston, or not piston, corresponds with that number is a bottle, it'll turn the comparator on. Otherwise, it won't. But yeah, that's how you can store and read binary codes in shulker boxes. So what this now lets us do is, what the fuck? Is the game frozen?
You probably should lag spike.
Why is it not? Oh, disconnected. Actually, if I disconnected and couldn't finish this, that'd be really shit, wouldn't it? So we're gonna put. Oh fucking hell! We're gonna get a new code box. I'm gonna use the same code as before, but basically we've got this code box in the output. I'll leave it there and just pick block it so people can look at it. I don't know. It's gone a bit fucked, hasn't it?
Because your server is breaking.
But yeah, what we can do now, which the old disk drive couldn't really do it, but the new one can, is you can actually store data in the disk drive. So someone give me a slot and a chest in the chat. 014, yeah, that's nice and easy one. So chest 0 is the furthest one over. 14 is 8 plus 4 plus 2. So if we look in the chest now, it's gonna. Actually, this is a good one because there's already a box in one of the slots, so you can see that it doesn't lose its position. But you can see there's now an empty slot in that chest. So now if I put the code box into the input, yeah, the old one would be able to do it if you did that. I just didn't make a version of it that could do that because I wasn't planning to use it for anything, but now I am. But if you look in the chest now, you can see I've now stored the code box in the disk drive. So doing this lets me store 512 code boxes, which you can use as a really dense sort of memory. Because that's 8-bit code box. So that's 8 bits of data in 9 bits of addressable storage. So that's what fucking. I don't know, whatever 256 times 512 is. Get a calculator.
That's a lot of data.
That's a lot of data. That's like 131,000 sort of data points, if you want to think of it that way. Or yeah, thank you. So it's basically super dense data storage because you've got 8-bit codes up to 512 8-bit codes. And if you use the big stack of them with 4 of them, that's 2048 8-bit codes that you can save theoretically. So it lets you store codes for things like dynamic bulk, which is what I'm going to use it for. So I'm actually going to have 2 of these temps. I guess I could paste them next to each other. No, there's no point doing that. Fuck it. But yeah, it basically means I can store 2,000 different code boxes, store loads of information really densely. And what's quite cool about having 4 of them stacked like this as well, which is another benefit of having separate disk drives, is they can all run at the same time. So if I wanted to
processing.
What did you say, sorry?
I said you get parallelized processing, which is really nice for this sort of thing.
Exactly. So one of the downsides of disk drives is they're quite slow. Because instead of just being able to instantly get a box like you can if you've got individual addresses, like individual containers for every item type, or every code rather. If you're trying to get the 30-second box out of a chest, that takes like 32 times 8 game ticks, whatever that is, that's 256. Yeah, that takes like over 10 seconds to get your box. Is it 512?
I think he's calculating
32.
as well. Yeah.
Oh, right, to re-input, yeah. Yeah, you're right. So that's quite a long time. That's like 25 seconds. So if you can run all 4 of them at the same time, full cycle versus retrieval. So it's like 25 seconds cycle time at maximum. Most of the time, on average, it'll be 12 and a half seconds cycle time and sort of 6-second retrieval time on average. But if you can run 4 of them at the same time, it's a lot faster because you're basically checking at 4 times hopper speed instead of at hopper speed. Oh fuck! Someone's pasted a dropper cage.
Holy.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this is another.
It's
This I believe is an Andrew's creation. It
Yeah.
looks like something Andrew would make. To be fair, if you like, I don't know how laggy this would be. Probably not that laggy. How many addresses is this?
1,000, I'm pretty sure.
1,000. Okay. This is a good comparison then. So this massive dropper cage here has half the capacity of this stack of disk drives. So you've got like something that's 3 times the size, storing like half the number of items, but it is a lot faster. So this would be
runtime versus linear.
Yeah. So this is sort of the other way to go for temp. But I think he's here. Andrew, someone's pasted your device. But yeah, the advantage of this is that it's really fast. So you don't really have to wait for anything, and it's not less complicated, but it's less fragile. Like if you unload a disk drive, it's going to scramble the chests that you're reading, which is fine because it detects it and shuts down. You can fix it. But with this, it should be a bit less. It should be a bit easy to fix. Oh yeah, this is like, I would assume like less than 1 second retrieval time.
Is this the one that's hopper speed? Oh no, sorry.
46. Okay, so it's 2 second retrieval time. That's really fast for 1,000 items. Because the disk drive is on average like 6.5 seconds retrieval time for only half that. Obviously, you can just build more disk drives and then it gets faster. But yeah, the main reason I like disk drive over this is you can see you get like 6 times the density with a disk drive, and it's got a lot fewer hoppers. So the disk drive has got like 35 hoppers in it, 36 hoppers. This has got one for every item type. So for the same capacity, if I wanted 2,000 slots, which I do, I'd need over 2,000 hoppers to do it with this. If I wanted to do it with a disk drive, it's less than 100 hoppers. Is it less than 100? No, it's like 130, 140, something like that. So it's a lot fewer hoppers and a lot smaller, but it is slower. That's basically the trade-off you have to make with most storage, really, is you either want it to be really fast, in which case it's going to be really big, or you want it to be small and lag-friendly, and then it's not going to be fast.
Yeah, it's a RAM thing, RAM/temp problem in particular.
Yeah, it's most noticeable with this.
Yeah.
Cart disk drive.
That's
Cart
one of the
disk
things I
drive
was
is
looking at. Yeah.
yeah. Cart disk drive is a super interesting proposition. So if anyone hasn't, yeah, Xstuff has got one. He's made a video of it. But if anyone hasn't seen, there's a way of doing a disk drive where instead of using hoppers to retrieve items, you do it with hopper carts. So instead of being 8 game ticks per item that it has to cycle through, it's 1 game tick per item. So it's 8 times faster to retrieve it. Sort of, it's not quite 8 times, but it's like 7 times faster to retrieve it. So it's very fast retrieval, but you have to use carts. One of the advantages this has is it's got no carts, no entities, very few pistons actually as well. It's not as fast, but it's more stable. Like if you unload I wouldn't want to have to fix a cart disk drive, but fixing this isn't too bad. Sorry, I keep disconnecting.
You're good.
Has anyone got any other questions they want me to answer at the moment?
One of the things I was looking at is how you're selecting the slices, like what hoppers to unlock, and it looks really interesting. Is it like
All right, the top ones or the bottom ones?
Is it not the same? I'm looking at the bottom ones in particular.
Oh, it's not quite the same. So
Okay.
it's basically just a red coder that powers from both ends.
Mm-hmm.
So if say I want to select slice 6, got slice 6 selected on the main disk drive at the moment. You can see up at the top that repeater's turned off, so the hopper to put items back in that slice is unlocked. It's literally just a red coder that gives you the signal strength in from one side and 15 minus the signal strength in from the other side to select exactly one slice. It's more, it fit here more easily than any other kind of red coder. And it also means I don't have to use any pistons in the slice, because a lot of people use pistons to select a slice. I don't really like doing that. My old one also did that, but now I've found a way to not do that. I have evolved, yeah. And then the bottom is basically the same thing, but it's slightly more interesting. So if you look at these target blocks, they're all under the hoppers, and there's dust powering it. This has to unlock and relock at very specific times, because that's what controls like how many items you take out of the chest. So it's got the same red coder type thing as the top, but it's also got another. If you look at this second concrete in here, it's also being powered by a repeater, and that basically stops it from. That means you can select a slice and not empty it immediately, so you can control the taking out of items from a chest after you select it. And this is kind of a cool bit of wiring that I quite like here. The signal strength, we've got to sort of send 2 signals through this concrete here. I'm just going to change it to a gold block quickly. So this gold block is quite important because you've got to send the signal strength through it for the red coder. And you've also got to send the locking signal through it. And the way we do that is basically we send the signal strength in with a dust so that it only powers this comparator to send the signal strength through. And then we send the locking signal through this comparator here, this one that's facing into the gold block. And that way it powers the dust line and keeps the entire thing locked. And it also sends a signal. There's a lot going on down here, to be fair. It also sends a signal the entire length of the disk drive to turn off the clock for calling items. So once it unlocks, it'll immediately turn on the clock and start pulling the items towards the front. So the bottom is actually quite cool. The top is just a red coder, but the bottom's like a red coder with another signal going through it I was quite happy when I came up with that. I thought, oh, this is sick. I'm really happy with that.
This is really cool. Yeah.
Thank you. To be fair, the signal strength transmission in it is quite tucked in. Like you can see all these comparators under here are all sort of. Thank you. Yeah, it is. It does a lot of things for how small it is, and there are things that you wouldn't think it has to do until you make it, and then you realize it has to do a lot of things. Mainly things that you could avoid if you wired it differently, but with how I wired it, you have to do certain things that you wouldn't think of otherwise. For example, to select a 0 slice, not slice, doesn't have signal strength 15 detection. Yeah, I think that's. You can add it to Monica's though, because it's got a. Yeah, you can do it on the front, but it's a bit cringe. I like having the front accessible.
Well, I mean, technically, the way it's done, it's not deliberately inaccessible. It's just ugly. But
yeah, you can access it, but I like
this
being able
is
to sort of have a
WUI.
floor. I like being able to have like a floor here, and you can just walk along and check on things. Yeah, I think having signal strength 15 is like detection. So detecting the chests of reset is a must. Because if your chest isn't completely full, if you've got an item missing, like if your server's crashed or if someone has just been fucking around with it and they've taken an item out, if you then try and call an item from that chest and you don't know that it's not reset properly, when you put the items back in, there's a slot missing. So it's gonna every item after that slot is gonna be shifted sort of forward a slot. So every single item in that chest is gonna be in the wrong slot. And the more you run it, the more it scrambles. And then that's gonna break your merges. It's gonna just cause massive ball ache. So I think having signal strength 15 detection is a must in these. It's also got detection that the chest's reset, so you can see there's a comparator reading out of it. And if that comparator's powered, it also won't let you run the drive. So if it hasn't reset yet, it won't let you run it. But that's more of just a thing because you do it because you might as well. It's easy. That's not a thing that you have to do. What else do I want to go over? Oh yeah, I'll go over the actual counter, like how it works. So you can see we've got Crane's binary counter up here at the top. It's right next to the signal strength 15, not 15, right next to the signal strength adder. It's quite compact. When that counter runs, it basically powers these two repeaters down here. And because of their task priority, if you clock these at hopper speed, it will give you a constant signal. So this is basically how we turn the flashes from the binary counter into a constant signal. Because the repeater's got a repeater behind it, it won't turn off if you power it at that speed. If I were to put another repeater in front of it, then it would start clocking. But that's how you get the constant signal to keep it unlocked. I guess you could clock it, but that's really cringe. So that's how we get the constant. Oh yeah, there is a torch there, isn't there? Yeah, that would burn out. You'd be able to wire it to not do that though.
Yeah.
What else? Oh yeah, because we're detecting the binary counter flashing to unlock the slice. That gives you an issue because if you're trying to take an item out of slot 0, there's no flash from the binary counter to detect because it's not on because you haven't given it a slot, it's just going for slot 0. This also happens for slot 1 because it's only one flash. So to get around that, you have to give it an extra sort of pulse when you start it up. It's a bit cringe, but it works, so it's all right. Has anyone got any questions at the moment?
I had another one. So
Sure.
when you are like, because you don't have like in the old disk drive, right? It detects the box and then inputs a bottle if you're removing the box from the slice. In this one, it leaves an empty slot because it's designed for also recalling code boxes.
Yeah.
So when you input something into like when you, like how do you return the item to the slice? Is that all automatic?
So that is it's, I mean, it would be automatic in the system, but as it is now, that is something you have to do yourself, sort of. So if let's say, what slot's that? 17, 16, 15. So slot 14 in chest 0. We're just going to use chest 0 for everything because it's easy. If I activate that, you can see. Hang on, what the fuck? Have I selected the wrong chest? I have selected the wrong chest. Why was that? Why was that selected? I didn't click that. Oh, maybe I
Looks like
did. I don't know.
I think I just got selected.
Anyway.
But yeah.
Anyway, if you look in chest 6, you can see it's got an empty slot. So when you access a slot, this deliberately leaves it empty. No, don't put stuff in it because it'll fuck it. And the item that was in the chest is now in this chest at the bottom here, in the output. So the idea is if you've got a code box in there, because it's a RAM, you would access the slot, do whatever you need to do with your code box. The disk drive will immediately reset all of the other items, and it will just leave that slot. And then when you're ready to reset it, I just get a box. All you need to do is throw it in this top hopper here, and it will pick it up, put it back in that slot that was empty, and then it will reset the slice. So
that's nice. I got you.
Yeah, so it's basically instead of calling the code box and then putting a placeholder item there, and then having to call the placeholder item out and put the code box back, it just waits for the code box to come back, basically. And then in the context of a temp storage, you would just attach an external thing to put a placeholder item there. So it's not as self-contained as the old one, but it's more versatile because you can use it for 2 different purposes. Whereas the old one was designed specifically as a temp. This one's designed as a temp or an item RAM, depending on how you use it.
That makes sense. How is it detecting that there's an island? Is it basically just it cycles, and then once it outputs the item, it just waits to get the item back before it lets you call another item?
Yeah, basically. So there's a comparator on this return hopper here that will read out from it. So when it detects that the items come back, it'll power the drop line to reset it.
I got you, and then it resets everything.
And when it does that, the chest becomes signal strength 15 again, which lets the disk drive run again.
I got you.
Obviously, if you put a code in while it's waiting for a box, then it'll fuck it because it hasn't reset yet. So it will try and reset a different chest and then it'll break. But if you just don't do that, the way that I'm going to use it, that will never happen. So it'll be fine.
Yeah. My understanding was that the safety feature of like waiting for the chests to be full before you can run it again would prevent that issue from occurring.
It will prevent it prevents it from breaking anything further.
Mhm.
because it won't let you run until it won't let the disk drive run until the chests are reset. But you can still, if you put another code in while it's waiting for it to reset, like if you're trying to reset slice 6
Mhm.
and then you go and put in another code, now you're trying to reset slice 7.
Oh, I got
So
you.
it'll so
I
you just
see.
have to not do that.
Yeah. So
If you
like
access the first
theoretically,
box,
you
can-
can read that. Oh wait.
hang on, what's this? No, sorry, you can finish what you were saying first, because we're still technically on your question.
Um, I was gonna say if you wanted to make a system that had like protections against that issue, could you like make it have like you could have like what's the term I'm looking for? Like you basically just store the signal strength after reading initially and then not update that until it's reset, right?
Yeah, that's how. If you wanted it to be super easy to use, that's how you would do it. That would be a good idea. I haven't done that because the way I'm going to be activating it
Yeah, not a problem.
means that it won't be a problem. But yeah, if you were gonna if you were gonna use it and just wanted it to be super user friendly, that is exactly what you do. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, Horatius, I need to answer your question now. If you access the first box, it can emit false positive from the hoppers placeholder. What do you mean?
Oh, I think he's saying that the chest will fill because of the placeholder, but that's
Oh
not
right.
actually.
It doesn't. Oh no, I guess it could fill for. It does fill for long enough, doesn't it? It would. Yeah, it would emit a false positive, but the chest. Actually, hang on. You might be right. I think you are right. But the way that you would use it would just prevent that from ever being an issue. If you use signal strength 15 detection as a cycle finish. Yeah. Yes, that is right. But it doesn't. I think it filters out that pulse though, doesn't it? Actually, let's give that a go. I want to see what this does because I haven't encountered that as an issue in my testing, but that does sound like something that could happen. So let's give it a go. First slot, so 0th slot. Reset all of them. You're right, it does. Briefly. I wonder if that is enough to cause issues. Let's see. I don't think it would be. Because I don't think it only 4 game tick pulses the piston. So you only get basically the composter is only down here for 2 game ticks, so that signal won't propagate all the way through this control logic. So this comparator will turn on because it's got a comparator in front of it. It changes its TARTIC priority. This comparator will not turn off. It'll decrease in signal strength because it's got a comparator in front of it. This front comparator, because of its TARTIC priority, will not flash. I think. Let's just test it because that would explain why I haven't had that as an issue in my testing. So, is it gonna? Oh, I forgot to fix that. Oh, I don't think the comparator even registered it. Hang on, let me.
Also could be
I just
because
wanna-
the latch resets instantly, so this can't call until this gets pushed down again.
Yeah, well, basically, the latch goes up immediately
Yeah.
and stops it from running because you have to give it manual confirmation that it can run.
Yeah.
But if you were to get rid of that and just have it run anyway for some fucking reason. I don't know why you'd do that. I want to see what it would do. So let's. That this comparator in front of the composter didn't flicker, did it? Oh no, that it wouldn't because it's signal strength 2. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, you're right. This comparator turns on for 2 game ticks, which it shouldn't, but it does. This one will decrease by 1 signal strength for 2 game ticks, which it shouldn't. But this front one will still say it'll only decrease to signal strength 1. It won't decrease to 0, so it won't actually break anything.
You also can check.
But yeah,
to
good
see if it
good call.
decreases.
Because I wouldn't have even thought of that. That's a. Thank you for telling me that. Because if that had broken something, then that would be really annoying. But luckily, it doesn't.
Do you want to try running that one more time? I'm just gonna see if this changes signal strength. I put some dust off of.
Yeah, sure. Hang on, I'm just going to reset the chest. No, I hadn't already reset it. Cool. Let's run it again.
Okay.
Did it change?
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't
So-
because the this front comparator won't respond to that pulse.
Yeah.
So basically, when you have a comparator in front of, when you've got a diode in front of a comparator.
Yeah, it's a 2TP issue. But I'm not. Sometimes
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen 2 game ticks pulses act strange with comparators before, so I was just confirming that it made sense.
Well, what's basically happening is, if I give you an example here, what's basically happening is this.
Yeah.
So comparators by default will not respond to 2 game tick pulses unless it's a long 2 game tick pulse. So you
Yeah,
have to schedule it
Yeah.
and then power it with another 2 game tick pulse when it checks for power. In this configuration, that front comparator, actually, yeah, that's a good idea. Hang on. In this configuration, that front comparator
Yeah.
is getting a 2 game tick off pulse. Hang on, let's just put this here. Yeah. So in this situation, that comparator is getting a 2 game tick off pulse.
Yeah.
So you can see it flashes off, but the front one, because it is only a 2 game tick pulse, it won't respond to it. These ones are only responding to it because they've got a diode in front of them. So if I remove that front comparator,
I wasn't sure if the piston was going to produce a long 2 game tick pulse or not. That was my confusion.
it does. So if I were to remove this, it would still turn on.
Yeah.
Because it schedules in tile entity, and then
Yeah.
the main thing is it unpowers, not unpowers. The composter moves out of the way in the block event phase, which is later than the tile tick phase,
Yeah.
so it will
Yeah.
it'll power. But once it goes through this comparator, it resets that.
Oh, and it gives it a different priority.
So it basically brings it back to tile tick phase.
Yeah. I got you.
So that's a good shout finding that. Thank you for pointing that out. It's an interesting lesson to give to people if you're not familiar with tile tick priority. I'm glad that didn't break it. That'd be really embarrassing if you found something that broke my device while I was showing it off. I think I genuinely have to just end it.
We're done. All right.
Yeah. Another thing that's also should have plus. We should. That would be a good idea because there's a lot of really useful stuff you can do with it. Like in my opinion, that's the main advantage Java has over Bedrock. Well, there are a lot, but one of the main things. Oh, thank you. One of the main things that Java has as good as deterministic update order. Bedrock is all fucking random. It's not good. Like there's some deterministic stuff, and some of the random stuff is like slightly deterministic, but in a shit way. Another thing that's worth mentioning, just as a feature I'm adding to all my devices. It's not really a feature. It's completely trivial to add. Is making sure that it's chunk loaded before you can turn it on. So if you were to use this in a main storage, you wouldn't want to run it without chunk loading. So by default, you would have it powered, have this dust line here powered, and that basically prevents this comparator from turning on, which prevents the drive from running. So you can see, even if I reset it, put the item back in the slot, it is now reset, but it still will not run, even if I tell it to, because the chunk loader is not on. So this is just a failsafe. If your chunk loaders fail, so your chunk loaders aren't running, it won't let it run, won't let it break. And once you give it chunk loading, that'll turn off and it'll start running. And you can use the same switches like a manual override as well. So if you want,
Like a pause.
yeah, like a pause or a manual sort of, oh god, something's broken on the storage, let's turn it off quickly. You can do that really easily, which is something you should have on every device, because it will break at some point on SMP. Doesn't matter how reliable it is, because this is reliable. This would never break under any normal usage. But if it gets unloaded, there's nothing you can do. It's going to break. So you have to have that sort of thing.
You seem to put a very high priority on safety features.
I do. Yeah, I put a massive priority on it because if we build my stuff in survival, I'm the one who has to fix it. Most people on Kronos don't do storage tech. I do all of us, not all of it. Mayday does most of the main storage, like maintenance and stuff, the dig sort maintenance. But if something breaks storage-wise on Kronos, it's either me or Mayday fixing it, or Const. Const can fix it as well. He's smart. But it's one of us three fixing it. I don't want to be fixing. If I can just put something in a device that makes it not break catastrophically, like if this breaks, it will immediately detect that it's broken and it won't run anymore. I'll be using a disk drive on SMP or do a power and disappear. I could do that, but to be fair, that would probably be a really good thing for me if I did that. I'd be so fucking rich. I'll be using a disk drive on SMP at the moment, not in main storage. So we've got one in our Redstone factory, which is the sort of auto crafting thing. It's not auto crafting. It's basically it's a place that we have on SMP that lets us mass craft Redstone components, and it's basically a mini encoded storage, and that has a disk drive in it to store recipes in. Leak MS. This is all the disk drive tech from MS at the moment. I haven't been working on it. So MS is going to have one of these big stacks for the temp, and it's going to have one of these big stacks for dynamic bulk. So it's going to have 8 disk drives. It's going to have 22 bits worth of disk drives. Yeah, that's why I need to be small, because I don't know where that dropper cage has gone. Someone's deleted it. But that dropper cage has half the capacity of this disk drive stack. So I'd need 4 of those not disk drives. I would need 4 of those dropper cages. And that's not viable to have at main storage because that's 8,000 hoppers. Is it 8,000? 4,000 hoppers or something. I don't know. It's a lot of hoppers. There's more capacity. Yeah, but that's awful though.
Somehow, I don't know how you would determine which item is which within a slot without using.
You can do it. You can do it as a temp if you pair it with a grouper, but that's a bit like.
Yeah, I was gonna say you would need crazy grouper tag.
I don't I don't like that very much. You could do it for RAM if you store one item in the dropper and one in the hopper, because then you know which one's which.
Hmm.
So you update the dropper to make it drop the item, then you put the item from the hopper in it. So you could double the density by doing that, but it's still you're still going to need two of those dropper cages, and that's going to be how many hoppers per item in that? Is it one, just over one per item, or per address? Yes, that's going to be like 2,000 hoppers, and this is like 150.
Yeah.
And I know people are like, oh, hopper locking doesn't matter anymore, and hoppers don't cause any lag anymore because lithium's good, but they do.
Yeah.
And
Hopper spam
also-
still bad.
it is linked list dynamic bulk, Andrew. So basically, your original idea, correct me if I'm wrong, was yeah. So am I right in thinking your initial idea was to have a renamed code item that represents each slice, and then have a linked list with them, basically? Yeah. So my issue with that is it's insane cancer to rename 1,000 items, especially if you want to expand it, right? If you want to have 2,000 slices, that's 2,000. Oh yeah, I guess you could do that. That's not too bad actually, but it's still annoying. And if you lose an item, like if something goes wrong and you lose an item, you're never going to find it again. And it Oh yeah, I guess. And that's the same. I guess that's the same thing with code boxes. That's a really bad argument. Um, I don't like having to rename thousands of items, basically. And also, you'd have to have an encoder to encode the items to get the code from it. With a code box, you just store the code box and then you read it. So it's a lot easier. And you don't have to set it up because all you need to do to create the code boxes is attach a binary counter to one of these. So if you come over to the code box maker, if you need 1,000 code boxes, all you need to do is attach a 10-bit, 10-bit, yeah, is attach a 10-bit binary counter to this, and every time you need a new code box, just power the binary counter and you get a new one. So you don't have to rename any items. You just have one of these with a binary counter hooked up to it, and it's super easy. I think the way I see it, the only advantage of the only advantage of renamed code items in dynamic bulk is that you can store them inside shulker. So you can have it really, really dense, but then you have to have an encoder. So it kind of negates the advantage of it, I think. So yeah, the way I'm doing it, which will hopefully be done later this year, will be one of these disk drive stacks with code boxes in a linked list. And if people want, we can do an episode on that dynamic bulk, because that would be interesting.
I think we definitely should. Yeah, that'd be really
We
good.
should, and we can reuse a lot of this plot for it as well, because it's got the disk drives on it. It's got all of the code memory stuff. Encoder plus one box item RAM, maybe smaller. That is true. Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, you are right with that, actually.
Encoder would be pretty big though.
It would probably be bigger, but no, it'd be
I don't
longer,
think
but
it'd be
it wouldn't
bigger
be.
than that, but it would be.
I think it'd be similar. It'd be fairly similar. I think this would be slightly smaller, but okay. I was thinking 1,000 slices with room for expansion. So the way I'm going to design it means that we'll be able to expand it not infinitely, but like if we ever fill up 1,000 slices of dynamic bulk, we'd be able to expand it.
I was gonna ask like how you end up at 2,000 as the number, because that's a lot. That's a lot of item types. That's like more that are than are in the game.
So this is kind of a long thing to explain. Let me basically the storage that I'm doing. I want to have dynamic bulk. Well, not dynamic bulk. Forget about dynamic bulk for now. I want to have box compatibility for every single item
Mhm.
because I'm tired of going through main storage on SMP and finding all of the chests filled up with loose items and overflowing and having to put them in boxes manually. So I want the storage to do it for every single item type.
Mhm.
If you've got halls that are 64 long, which is sort of standard, that's industry standard for chest hall length, is 63 long,
Mhm.
and 8 items per slice. 8 times 63 is 504, something like that. So you need a 9-bit. You basically need to. I want to be able to store all of the items for one hall in one disk drive. So if I've got halls with 504 item types and a
It's
disk
just
drive
for
with capacity for 512, it works out really nicely. And I've got 3 halls, so I need 3 disk drives. But because 1500 is not a power of 2, that means you'd have 500 codes that are just wasted. So you might as well have another disk drive and have that for special items. So that's how I've arrived at 2000. Is I need 1500 for the halls, and then it's got 500 spare codes. Yeah, and they keep adding new items. One thing that I would quite like to do is multi-item type chests, which is harder than it sounds.
That's really
But
bad.
also,
It's kind of hard to do with Palo Logic, no?
well, it's not actually that bad. So what you basically do is say you have 500 codes that don't correspond to a chest. It's not that bad. Yeah, it's really easy if you don't do encoded temp. But I need encoded temp so that it's callable. So I can add more features that make it harder to finish. But basically, I need. Fuck, I forgot what I was saying.
Talking about Palo Logic and the MIS chest.
Oh yeah, that. So basically, imagine this top disk drive. All of the codes for it, you've got 500 codes that aren't associated with a chest. You can have it so that if an item gets encoded with that code, instead of sending that code to the chest tool, you can have a ROM that sort of links it to another chest. So you can encode an item and it gives you a code 10. 10 is not associated with a chest, but 10 is associated with 5 in a ROM somewhere, and 5 is associated with a chest. So that way you've got the item with code 5 has its slot in temp, and the item with code 10 has a slot in temp, and they're both stored in chest 5, if that makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, like the temp problem is definitely solvable. I was assuming that you're doing Palo Logic in your halls, right?
I am, yeah. Well,
So
for most of them.
Yeah, but with Palo Logic and MIS chests, like that's not very viable because you can't actually like assume what the fill level of the chest is, if that makes sense.
You sort of can, but it depends. So if I set up an example chest, if we come down to the floor, if anyone, basically, firstly, if anyone's not familiar with Palo Logic, the idea is basically, Oh, I'll do better next time. Basically, instead of having your chest that's just full of loose items, the idea is you fill it up to half with glass, not glass, with loose items, and then you fill the rest of it with boxes of it.
Mhm.
You can change the thresholds, so I would probably do it. I would rather do it like mostly boxes and then a few items. But the issue is if you've got multiple item types in your chest, you can have it where one of your item types, you've only got one of them, and then it fucks with the single strength readings. So all you have to do to make it work is you have to sort of decrease the maximum fill level that it'll allow. It's really hard to explain. It makes sense once it makes sense. But normally what I would do is stop unloading at single strength 14.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got a bunch of random item types in a chest, that can stop you from ever reaching single strength 14 because you've got a bunch of slots with one item in them. So all you need to do to make it compatible is stop unloading at a lower signal strength, which is a bit shit. It's okay with 2 item types. With more than 2 item types, it gets a bit shit because you just lose a load of capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
you can make it work. It just
you
is
can
kind
make
of
it work. You can make it work. It's just a bit shit because you can't have as much capacity as you would otherwise. Yeah, I mean, I think the way I'm thinking of doing it is having like with copper types, right? You've got your oxidized, you've got your non-oxidized. They can both go in the same chest. Same with wall signs and signs. Same with, I don't know, trapdoors and doors, maybe fences and fence gates, something like that.
Yeah, so I feel
But by
like
doing that, you can basically halve the number of chests you have for those items.
so you can double your item types that you can assign really easily without having major impacts. That makes sense.
Yeah,
9 would be
it's
a
just
lot.
the downside is 9 is a lot. Like if you're on a server, if you're on a tech server, go look through the chests in your main storage. Look at how they look. Most of ours, we've got single item types on there because they're just filters. Most of the chests have boxes in them. A lot of them are full of boxes. Like this isn't even bulk items. This is like chest tool items are full of boxes. So you don't want to decrease your capacity further by putting everything in MIS chests.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've got stuff like banners would be a shout. I'd be down to just burn them, to be honest. Like keep pillager banners, keep they are 16 stackable. That doesn't really affect it. You can still use all of this stuff still applies to 16 stackables. The only thing it really affects is setting up your encoder, because each 16 stackable item counts as 64 stackable items. So you have to be careful with how full you make your encoder. But so I've put chests. Yeah, I think the thing with it is you don't want to put everything in the same chest, because if you've got a lot of an item type, you don't want to decrease its capacity by putting it in an MIS chest. It's mainly useful for stuff like copper, where you've got 2 variants that do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And you don't really have a lot of most of them. Like we've got a lot of copper blocks from quarrying a trial chamber, but all of the trapdoors, all of the lightning rods, shit like that, like we've hardly got any. And all of the non-oxidized ones just go to overflow. And it's really annoying. So having MIS chests for something like that would be really useful, I think.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of box myths for that reason as well.
Yeah,
But
I quite like that as well.
yeah.
We've moved off disk drives a bit, but it's all sort of relevant. Has anyone got any more questions or more things they want to discuss or anything?
I mean, there are a couple kind of like future direction questions I have if no one else has more like
Sure.
current stuff. Kind of wanted to return a little bit back to part disk drives and other like technology around like basically like item RAMs. I
Sure.
was curious what your thoughts were on kind of what the future that looks like if you've explored or want to explore other approaches.
Cart stuff is, I think it's very powerful. Like all of this cart splitter stuff, cart SIGVAR is very powerful. It's very fast. I've never really used any of it. Like I use encoders. I can use, like, I can make piston bolt stuff. I can do stuff with stack carts, furnace arrays and shit, but cart SIGVARs and stuff are beyond me. I'm sure if I wanted to, I could learn how they work. I could probably make one if I really wanted to, but I like stuff that I'm already familiar with that has been tried and tested on SMP and is reliable. So splitters, like old school splitters, we used to have them in our main storage on Kronos. They are indestructible. We've never had a splitter break. We probably had them for 2-3 years, and they never broke at all. We've still got them in the dig sort, and they're the only thing in that dig sort that hasn't broken. Actually, no, the remote bulk hasn't broken, and the main encoder hasn't broken. Every other part of it has broken, but the splitters haven't. The mergers have only ever broken because the group has broken. So I think splitting and merging is just super reliable. So and I understand it already, so I quite like using that instead of cart stuff. Even though cart stuff is like, it is very powerful, it's very fast. I like splitters and mergers because they just work, and I understand them, and they're very easy to fix. Some of the cart stuff looks insanely hard to fix.
Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's basically that. What was the? There were two parts to your question, weren't there?
Yeah. The other part was more focusing on like disk drives and item RAMs. Like, what do you think? Do you think disk drives will remain forever relevant, or are there other directions you think are interesting to explore?
I think they will be the default choice for most things. I mean, they've been the default choice for years. Pala's original temp was technically a disk drive. Like it works the same way. It's just with droppers instead of chests. But I think they're still going to be relevant because they work. There are a lot of designs out there to choose from. There aren't a lot of dropper cages. You've got the N-Tech one. You've got Andrews, like a couple of Andrews ones, but there aren't that many. They're easier to make, I think, on a small scale, but you've got a lot of options with disk drives, and they're very small. You go to disk drive. Oh yeah, they can be unencoded disk drive, I think is so.
My question was agnostic to encoding. I'm just curious about the future.
I think disk drives are still going to be the main sort of way to go for it because they're just small. A lot of people don't like massive things. I don't really mind having really big components, but I like having very few hoppers and tile entities. I don't like having loads and loads of them. And I think not everyone agrees with me, but a lot of people do. I think people are going to keep using disk drives. People are probably going to keep using dropper cages as well for speed, but I see a lot more people using disk drives. And then with cart disk drives, I think I think they're really cool. I still prefer just the normal ones for stability because they're reliable. If they do break, it's not catastrophic because it will shut down. The cart ones are cool tech. The issue with them is they don't reset instantly. I know Monica's working on something to sort of fix that. So Monica's doing some good work on part disk drive from what I can tell. So I think it's going to be super cool to see where that goes. I'm not planning to make one because I just spent ages making this and I quite like it. Well, to be fair, not that long. This was like if I added all the time I spent on this together, it was probably a day, 2 days.
No way.
But that's like spread over a few days, right? And also, this is after designing them before. Like, this isn't the first one I've made. I already know how they work. So there's it's not like I have to teach myself how they work and then make one. It's sort of, I know what it has to do. Like, once you've done something once, you can make it. I mean, this wasn't even the first version of this disk drive. There was a previous one that was really shit that I made. And that took way longer to make than this. Because I sort of had to remind myself how it worked, and now I know how it works. But yeah, I think cart disk drive is very cool tech. I think that's going to get more development than this is in the near future because you've got Monica working on it. The stuff that she's working on, I think, is, I mean, it solves the speed issue. It just isn't finished yet. But once it is, I reckon that's going to be, a lot of people are going to use that.
Very cool.
That's when I say a lot of people in the context of encoded storage. So,
That's a lot of the
like,
20.
like three or four people, and it'll never see survival mode. But yeah, that's that really. So anyone, I don't know, what do other people think is going to happen with, like, what direction do other people think temp storage is going in?
Well, I've been seeing more and more filter-based solutions lately, and also overall takes on, like, you've seen all of those whitelister halls, like kind of encoded but with a whitelister instead. I wonder if that's gonna get more developed. Yeah, because, well, if you have one of those whitelister temps with bucket search, it does a lot of what your encoded one can do, but you don't need any encoding, you don't need any packets, packet reading, all that. I guess it is simpler to just to slap on your
Yeah,
system.
that's quite cool tech.
Yeah.
There's one pasted on here, isn't there? Over, is it this one?
There's one over here. Yeah.
Not there.
Oh yeah, there's the matrix temp.
Matrix temp is. These are hyper-threaded whitelister temps.
Fucking hell. Oh, to be fair, I think I saw this. I saw part of the episode on that. Sorry, I was about to see. I did see this on YouTube. This looks a lot more complicated than my one.
This is more complicated. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think disk drives have the advantage they've outsourced the search process. They're just kind of like brain dead.
Well, this needs the disk drive doesn't do a lot by itself. It's sort of, you tell it to do something and it does it. This seems like it's a more complete self-contained system.
Yeah. So that is why it's more complicated, but yeah.
Yeah, but this, I mean, does this need an item to call something like this? You have to give it an item, don't you?
Yeah, so this only works as a temp. Like, you need to put in a box.
Right. Yeah, because this, I quite like this. If you're not planning to do dynamic bulk ever in that system and you just want it as a temp, I think this is a really good approach. You can also do group attempt, which is a weird concept. I don't know if anyone has actually bothered doing it. I was going to do it ages ago, and then I made the grouper, and I was like, it's just going to be shit.
Like a group per slice.
No, as in like you've got instead of searching for a specific slot in the chest, you just empty the whole chest into a grouper.
Well, groupers, they're pretty much the backbone of filter-based stamps, so like all of them use that.
Yeah.
Like the metric stamp does that. It uses the whitelist just to select like the cell of a dropper cage, and then each dropper cage has 10 item types, and then you search through those with a grouper.
Yeah,
all of the
right.
whitelist bucket search ones.
Yeah,
It's a
this one
similar
also
idea.
uses a grouper. Yeah.
The whitelist just selects a bucket, and then you search through it with a grouper.
This is the grouper component of whitelister temp down here.
All right.
So yeah, basically all whitelist attempts use groupers because you don't know what slot it's in because the order is random. So you have to search it somehow, and grouper is the applied way.
Yeah, I can't remember if anyone had made. I can't remember if I made the first one of these or if someone had made another one before me. The first time I made a grouper was specifically for this. I was originally going to do it with an S-var, and I was like, this is really piston spammy, and I don't like having to have a wanker and then the S-var and then the recombiner. What if it was all just putting the box on top of a variable filter and using that for the thing? I wonder if I've got a schematic for that. Box grouper, that's the 2022 schematic. That could be it. I'm going to just go back to the plot that we were on so I'm not pasting shit random
Sounds
places. Yeah, so this, has that pasted properly? It has. This was the first grouper that I did. I think I need to put boxes in the hopper. What'd you say, sorry?
It uses a default offcut.
Let me just remind myself. It does, yeah. So basically, by default, the comparator's on. No, on is off because it thinks there's an empty composter behind it.
Yeah.
And then when you when it detects the comparator update in the hopper, it pushes it turns on, and then it pushes the composter up and turns off. Yeah. Should we test it just see if it still works?
Yeah.
It should do. I don't know if pasting it has fucked it. I remember I was quite happy with this when I made it. Thought it was cool.
Quite niche, as Pyro would say.
Yeah, I can't remember how. Hang on, I just need to remind myself how it works. Because there is a thing here to start it up.
I'm assuming it's this toggle here.
Yeah, but that also reads from the hopper, so I think. Do you have to? What the fuck?
I think you have to toggle it once to start it.
Oh, that's fucked it. Right, let me fix it. We've completely gone off the original topic.
That's all good.
Oh, that's to reset it. Yeah, so if we put the barrel in. Is this hopper just retarded? Why is it not? Oh, it's locked, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what that button is. Yeah, now I remember. Oh, it doesn't even need to I remember how it works now. I quite like this. This is a good bit of tech. If it's
Looks
working,
like the CUD broke. The
Oh, did
hopper
it?
filter. Yeah, it's down a box again.
Fuck.
I think that was probably when you put it in, it probably updated the CUD and spit it out again. So
Maybe. Oh, fuck it. I don't know. It worked at some point, and I was quite happy with it. It probably still works and has just got broken from pasting it. Maybe if we update all the comparators, it'll start working again. Because they always get fucked when you paste them. Yeah, and also like if the server crashes while it's running, it seems like it would be harder to fix than a regular disk drive.
I would imagine so.
It might not. I don't know.
I think the big issue would be the same, which is your chests get scrambled, and that's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. But if you have extra carts lying around, that's always annoying. A lot of inventories to sort through.
Yeah, it's Harvard crosses. Yeah, that is another thing. I think it should just be easier to fix a non-cart disk drive. It's the same with
I think
anything though. Once you get carts involved,
Card any- It's probably-
everything becomes more fragile. Oh, it's working now. There we go.
Nice.
It literally just needed to be run once. So now all of the other boxes are coming out. And then if we put them back in, because it resets itself as soon as it finishes the cycle. So if I put, what color have we filtered out again? Was it red that we filtered out?
Yeah, it's red.
Right. So if I put this back through now, it'll filter out blue. Yeah.
Very nice.
And I quite like this. The whole reason I made this was because at the time on Kronos we had an SVAR for grouping boxes for sending to the bulk, and it kept breaking. And it was a lot of piston actions because you got to place the box to get the item out, then you got to send it through the SVAR, then you got to recombine it. And I was like, what if we could just make it not have to do as many things? And that's how this came about. So I guess we can run it again now, get yellow out. I don't know why the fuck we're doing this. Like this is 4-year-old tech nearly. 3.5-year-old tech. But yeah, it still works. And to be honest, if I needed a grouper just on its own, I'd probably still use it. This is quite nice.
I think there is some smaller stuff that's been released. Not actually much smaller, to be honest, but
I think, yeah, well, yeah, but I trust this.
Yeah, exactly. True. Yeah, one of the things that changed, or one of the things that, like when we were doing Matrix Temp, we were dealing with the grouper, and Andrews got really, really sick and tired of like fixing the filter on the grouper, because if you trigger the CUD accidentally, it's gonna pull a item out of it, and so he designed a grouper layout that just like doesn't lose the filter items ever. And that was like one of the reasons. The other reason was that the water streams are really, really slow. Like
this is a really nice layout, actually.
Yeah,
I like this.
But yeah, so we use the same. We made a custom one for the other temp as well, but it uses the same concept of having the unbreakable filter, as well as no water streams. So
yeah, that's really nice. Actually, I like that filter. I'm gonna have to start using this filter for everything now. Whereas it doesn't have a hole pulling out of it; it literally just places the box under it.
Yeah.
That's-
The trade-off is that you can't, you can't put the boxes down to recombine them until the grouping process is done.
Oh, really?
And so
What? Why,
you
why
have a
not?
limited number of matches you can make because it triggers the CUD when you place the box.
What? Hang
And
on.
so
what
you
the
could
f-
get
oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's not a problem in a temp because you only ever have one possible match.
What if you what if actually no, that wouldn't work. What if you instead of having the card read the hopper, you have it read the box and you unbud it when you place the box? So it only reads the box after it's
It
been
sends a
placed.
CUD update anyways, does it not?
It'll send it'll send the comparator already when you place the box, but if the comparator's not budded at that point, like if you bud it on a clock,
Oh,
You could do
that's.
that, yeah.
Can you even do that? I was thinking about it the other day. I'm not sure if you can bud it without giving it an update.
You can.
oh,
I mean,
it probably wouldn't really. It probably wouldn't really. No, you can.
Yeah.
You can bud it without giving an update.
Oh, how so?
If you use dust redirection,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
which isn't
I mean, that's
any
more
laggier than
like flip the thing that's cutted back on, right, without updating it. Otherwise, when
yeah,
the box-
basically that.
Yeah. And see,
I mean, this is cutted. Doesn't give it an update. If it gave you an update, it wouldn't work as a cut.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I think it'd make it a lot larger to read from the
Yeah,
box,
I think it probably would.
but it would preserve a lot of the feature set without and would allow for like constant output of boxes, which would be good.
So it's yeah. There's a lot of ways to do it. Really, this is nice though. I like this. Oh, and you've got the you got like a crawl space here. You stole this from Maddie XD, the Cumbrew. No one. Does anyone even remember that?
I remember it.
Half the yeah, it's missing the idle chest carts just sitting there for no fucking reason. Yeah, it was like if you trained an AI on piston doors and then was like, and you're like, wire a potion, bro. That's what it would. That's what it would come up with. No, this is quite cool. I like this. Yeah, let's have a look at this. What the fuck? What the fuck is this?
Put all the stops for the cart routing.
Then it loops again, does it? Oh no.
Looks like you have no update. Yeah, you have no updates on. There you go.
Yeah, this is quite cool. I like this. Does it have to with the encoder going around a 90-degree bend, is that like a thing it has to do, or is that just for size, like making
It's
it a cube
so
instead of
you could
making it
theoretically do it straight. It just would be a lot larger. When we were making this, I experimented with straight layouts as well. It was just they were bad.
Yeah, I guess because you got a cube here, it's quite nice.
Yeah.
Empty slice. Oh, yeah. I quite like this. This is nice.
I think it'd be kind of interesting to make a version of this that doesn't require, like, you can call an item, like you use an item to call it instead of a box. But I don't know, it'd be questionable utility because if you're doing like dynamic bulk or other things that require a RAM, you're gonna be encoding. So
Yeah, I think non-encoded temps or group attempts, whatever, whitelist attempts, they're all good if you're not planning on doing dynamic bulk. But if there's ever a possibility that you want dynamic bulk, which you should because it's sick, in the main storage, I wouldn't use it. I would only ever use encoded temp in main storage. Like, just because I think dynamic bulk is so useful. I'm really surprised no one's built it on SMP recently. Like,
I mean, probably because no one built it on CMP.
yeah,
Like-
but I'm surprised no one unencoded dynamic bulk. Unencoded dynamic bulk is AIDS.
Can't you just kind of use an SFAR instead of a box sorter?
You do, but it's a bit more complicated. Let me see if I've got my one. I probably don't. Oh, I've got a schematic from 2021. That could be it. This was right when I was starting out on Java and I was retarded.
Oh, red cube.
So this is. I have no idea if this is a functional slice or if this was just a schematic I've made. This is unencoded dynamic
Low-key.
bulk. It does, yeah. They quite like their wide bulk slices with a lot of stuff in them. So this is Crane's SFAR. It's ancient technology. But basically, the idea behind it is instead of using a code and stuff, you just have an SVAR on the top, and then you have an item filter on the bottom that lets you call items. Was it an item filter? I can't fucking remember how I did it. Anyway, there was some way you can call items with it, and if it ran out of items, this comparator would turn off, and then he would push this up. I don't know why I did a slider for half of it. I don't know why I did a 10 block tool slider instead of 12, but I don't know. This is really shit wiring. It's shit technology. But it's basically an SVAR that would unmap if
Slice went empty.
if the slice became empty. I can't remember what I did if the slice became full. Think it's this shit here where if it's full, you have a global clock that stops it from sucking items in. I can't remember if that works though. I assume it doesn't work though, because you have to place the box. Oh no, it could work.
This should work. I think this should work.
It should. I think it should actually work. Yeah, maybe I was onto something.
That's kind of genius, actually.
I think I may
like-
have been onto something, but I don't. It does kind of like I don't really like it because it's going to be slow, right? Dynamic bulk slices have to be fast. Oh, I guess they don't.
this
There's
could
no
be-
encoding. There's no encoding. Actually, it doesn't have to be fast. This could be useful.
I think the tech makes sense.
Yeah, this seems like it should work.
No matter what you do. So
Yeah. I don't know how I did the call. I think I'm missing the item filter. There would be an item filter down the bottom.
maybe this is a future project for me at some point.
Oh wait, I remember how the calling works now. You give it a box and then run the collection thing. That's terrible. That is
That was
awful.
as well a while ago.
I wasn't
Like,
onto
what-
something. I was fucking brain dead. Oh well, you get to see some questionable tech from when I was still a Bedrock player. Right, I think. Has anyone got more questions about the disk drive stuff or encoded stuff or anything? I don't think anyone does.
I think we should be good.
In that case, I think. Oh, hang on. What's?
Well, it's really nothing. It's not really related either. I guess I don't though want to touch on a topic that's more adjacent to the packet stuff, just because you mentioned matrices and the implementation of multi-type chests, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is also technically an unrelated topic, but I was just looking into that idea again of a system where everything is near chest health, so non-stackables, chest types, bulk types, and the possibility, like bringing back external hybridization, having items in one chest, boxes in another, and like different addresses and how that would be encoded. So, first of all, just curious to know what people's thoughts are on the UI as an idea.
I quite like that. So where you have two chests for an item type, and one's for the loose items, one's for the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that. It's it might be weird to use just because people won't be used to it. Like that's not an interface that people have used before, right? Like people are used to stuff being in one chest. I quite like it because it solves the power logic issue where you have chests that eventually just fill with boxes or fill with loose items.
Yeah.
You do lose some slots, obviously, but that's fine. I quite like it as a solution, though. It's actually quite nice.
Wait, so Dnator, the suggestion was to have like per item type, one chest of item, one chest of boxes of item.
Now you
Yeah,
activated it, right?
I'm just gonna mention that. Yeah, exactly. That's where the inspo came from. So, yeah, I'm not saying this should be done for every type, but just a few types which you really have a lot of to have more capacity.
It's like an encoded hybrid loader.
Pretty much.
One thought that I had, thank you, Comfy. I was about to do that too. So my thought was that you could do like a normal chest haul, but then the bottom chest is just a box for boxes of that slice, instead of having like a chest of boxes per item.
Sorry.
Oh, that's quite a cool idea.
What was
But
that?
you'd have like, instead of having like a separate chest for the boxes of certain item types, you would have a chest for all the boxes in that slice.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Another option is something like what I'm doing. So this is the new. This isn't the newest version because it has a couple of things wrong with it. But this is basically the new main storage slice that I want to be using. So it's basically an 8-item type matrix haul, but the bottom chest has box displays. So you have power logic for the top 6, and the bottom 2 will just have boxes sent to them, and they'll have a box display.
Yeah.
So you can sort of imagine it as your bottom 2 chests are bulk and the other ones are non-bulk. But if you use dynamic bulk, nothing's bulk until it needs to be, and then everything's bulk. So
Yeah, I've seen this. This is nice.
Yeah, I quite like it. It would be nice if I could have boxes like
Well, if
sort
you
of there, but
we've
you
got over
can't, and then you have to put the well, I mean, if you can have the display block there and a box there, I think that would be
I mean-
nice, but
Yeah, that'd be very nice.
it is unfortunately not wireable. Yeah, you can't. It's physically not possible to wire. So
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
think
do
one of the
this.
frustrating things with hybrid halls is the like 6+2, like the 8 items per slice gets really rough to wire with good UI.
Yeah, I think this is about as good as you can really get without completely losing hopper locking.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I mean, this doesn't have it for everything. It's got the two middle chests don't have it. I've been told that will be fine, but I don't know. The issue is if you want hopper locking for it, it has to be like 2 or 3 blocks wider, and then your halls have to be further apart, and then it's shit. So it will be fine. Like, it's not like our current storage has hopper locking when it's running either. Like, the current storage has like 30 hoppers in a slice, and they all unlock when you start unloading items. So I think this is fine. But yeah, this is just another way of solving the sort of loose items, full boxes situation. Is if you've got stuff that you know you're going to have boxes of, you might as well put it in a slice that's got box display.
Yeah.
That's very fair. This is a nice call. That was just more as like just a thought experiment, a pure idea of having stuff
Yeah, I quite like
that
it.
includes non-stackables, including multi-item types as well. And that just
I quite
help.
like that as an idea.
Yeah, but that runs into challenges of like encoding. So how do you store the code for the full box chest separately from your item chest? No.
It is complicated. So what you would have to do is this is what some people call programmable storage. So codes can have different item. What codes can have sort of different ways to treat them, basically. So you have your code, and there are different sort of sorting approaches that you can apply to it. So instead of just having your code and you send it to the hall or you merge it, depending on how full it is, you've got your code, and that code could have a program assigned to it. That program could be just send full boxes. The program could be just send loose items. The program could be send loose items until the chest's full, and then put them in a different chest, which is what you want. The way you would do that is you'd have to have some sort of module to run the program that basically, once the chest is full, it gives you the code for the second chest to put full boxes in. It's super complicated. Melantech were, I think, trying to do that. They invented programmable storage architecture type stuff. It's really complicated, but it is quite cool.
Absolutely.
Like,
Also, can't you also just do it simpler though and say if you have like full box, you just send it to the box chest? And then
yeah, but
don't
you
have
have to know if that item type is getting that treatment. You have to know what the code is for the box chest. You could do. I guess you could do a simpler way of doing it where, yeah, I think fill the item chest first, and then once that's full, fill the box chest. But I think a simpler way to do it could be, actually, if I can illustrate this on this hall. Fuck. Oh, fuck off. Right. Thank you. Cool. If right, so if you imagine, oh fuck,
What's going on?
that wasn't meant to happen. So if you do something like that was me trying to change some colors and I mistyped. If you imagine all of the red chests are loose item chests, and all of the ones with the orange block display are box chests, what you could do is default everything to the loose item chests, and then once that's full, you just have to change one bit in the code, and you can do that just with a device. It'd be quite easy. And then you've got the code for the box chests. That could be an idea.
Yeah.
The only downside with that is you have to do it for every item type.
Well,
And then
I
you
guess you could
have
have
half the
another part of the
density.
code that like tells you whether that rule applies or not, and otherwise, that
Yeah,
chest may contain a different item type. But right, well,
you
one thing
could,
for
yeah.
sure, an entire program is probably excessive. So all you need to like replace one code for the other.
Yeah,
The way I was
it's,
approaching it is as if the box chest could be any other chest, so you would need an entire code for it. That is probably excessive though, like, yeah, you could probably just have it the chest below.
yeah, it's complicated stuff.
Now that I think about it, if it's just switching the lane, that's probably actually much easier than I thought, because
Yeah, switching lanes not hard. Actually, yeah, to be fair, that is quite easy. Oh, I'm very good. I hadn't thought of that, and now I've thought of it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. But I mean, the thing is, with the hybrid thing that I'm trying, wouldn't work very well because the bottom
Well,
chest is always going to be boxes. It
yeah,
would
of course.
only really be usable for the top three chests, so you'd have to make it so one of the top three is boxes, one of them's loose item, and one of them gets power logic.
I'm
I don't
thinking
know.
about this. Yeah, I'm thinking in context of
It,
just a
it's
conventional
complicated,
matrix.
but
And
to convert between the loose item chest and the box chest actually wouldn't be too bad. You wouldn't need a ROM like what I was thinking originally.
yeah, if you cache the packet in your matrix unloader, and then if the box overflows, like if you send it to overflow, I was thinking you would have to either encode again or you would have to store another code in the packet for the box chest. But if it's just switching the lane, you could literally re-input the box, but on a different lane than it was supposed to, provided that it overflow and provided it has that like bit to state that it uses hybridization.
Yeah, you would basically just switch the lane, or you'd have a bit in the code box that tells you whether you want to do that to it or not. And if you do, then you just force that chest to unload instead of doing power logic. And once it gets to signal strength 14, then you just change one bit in the stream code and send it to that. That's actually not as bad as I was thinking it would be originally. I might have to add that as a feature in my storage now. Fuck.
Yeah. And it should also
Anyway,
be compatible with conventional polar logic, because like you could have a chest that fills up like halfway with items, halfway with boxes, and then there's an extra chest just for boxes, like as extra capacity in theory.
yeah. Oh, the only issue is that like you lose a lot of density if you do that, and you're going to want to do it more for more commonly used item types, and they're going to be at the front of the hall. So you wouldn't want to do it for a lot of things. You'd want to be quite careful with what you use it for, but it could be quite cool. Anyway, I think has anyone got any more questions, ideas, anything? Don't think anyone has.
He thinks.
I do think on occasion. That's all good. Yeah, thank you for having me on, listening to me yap about this stuff. Hopefully, it was interesting or useful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. You got to. Oh, do you want to see the ultimate box display as well while you're here?
Yo, how is the defeat tape?
Yeah.
Yo,
Once again, while I have everybody here,
This
does
is
anyone have thoughts for next week's topic?
no.
Dynamic bolt question mark.
That needs to be finished first.
Oh man.
As and when I finish it, I'll be happy to
sure.
do that. But
No,
for now, I don't
recommend
think there's
it
one
every
to actually
time.
show off.
Yo, unencoded dynamic bulk as a group wiring project.
Oh, to be fair, that's Curry's Bathroom Farm Dynamic Bulk is done, is it?
Yeah, it
I was
is
just
done.
working on it. I don't think it's like done.
Why would you do dynamic bulk for a bathroom farm storage? I don't know. Anyway, this is the peak of box displays.
I mean, you really don't need the feed tape to be this long though. You gotta have one person that like stops on each slice, and then
Yeah,
triggers
you
it.
could, but I didn't think of that until I'd already wired it. So
Oh, man.
you very well could, but I wired it before I thought of that. So
Is programmable main storage real?
yeah, probably.
Have someone
Oh
look
fuck! Why is it broken? What the fuck?
Is it a pasting issue?
It could be.
Well, okay, well, there's something missing here. Looks like this is meant to be a component over here. Like this observer, so looks like the feed tape failed on the spot.
Oh, someone broke one of the fucking. Someone broke this concrete. Why the fuck did they do that? That seems like Russian behavior.
Brr.
In a good way, though, you know? Alright, don't touch anything just yet. I need to set it up so it's usable. Oh, for fuck's sake, this is really pissing me off now. I keep NBT pick blocking stuff and it doesn't work. And I place all the stuff and then it's empty. There we go. This is the ultimate box display. We've actually got this in got this in survival.
Needs a
Is that
Roomba.
It does need a Roomba. It has never broken in survival because we built it 3 days ago. To be fair, I don't think it'll actually break. I reckon this will never break on SMP. Because it's quite quick, right? It's not like it's not a highly stressed component. It's a restock station for like pickaxes and shit. It's never gonna break. Yeah, you could optimize it. You could make it just have one piston, but it is breakproof. It's indestructible, solid state. Doesn't have a single piston in it.
Not one.
At all.
Yeah, Andrew, I don't know if you could break it. Wait, how did you break it?
Andrew would
Doesn't
break
look
it by
broken.
adding card.
Just apply his card. Really.
It doesn't look broken. It looks perfectly fine.
One of the boxes is empty and it's not broken.
Oh, that's fine. That's a. I don't count that as breaking because it's not gonna. Oh my fucking god! That MBT pick block thing I was talking about has just happened again.
Yeah, it'll break any that are empty when the pistons are in
Yeah.
place.
It detects one being empty and then it cycles, and any that are empty when it finishes cycling get replaced.
No.
It's the
Yeah,
only. It's the only box display on Soontek CMP that has a feed tape in it. To my knowledge,
I believe it. Yeah.
it's the only box display on Cronus that has a feed tape.
Might be the only box display in the world that has a feed tape.
No, I made another one.
Oh, okay. See.
I made one that was worse. This is the optimized version. There was another one that was like half the speed and twice the size. This is the optimized one. Cannot be beaten.
Even if it was just one
Horrible.
piston.
You know what? You could put the piston on a flying machine and have like use this in a full haul.
Oh my god.
You could. Oh,
Oh Jesus.
that's we should do that. That's a really good
Bro,
ultimate
That was-
quad bulk.
bro.
Holy
You
shit.
could do a sick quad bulk UI with that,
You could.
or like
And I
a
was-
6 item per slice bulk.
Dude, I was literally gonna promote this layout as well as like a sensible option despite of how fun good tapes are. Okay, I tried this layout. This layout is quite annoying, but I don't know, it would still be nice to have. I think you made this before.
This I think this was Andrew's creation, wasn't it?
Well, I mean,
this
the
layout?
original was, but then you made this modification of it to have your hex display thing.
Oh yeah. This was the original one actually. I remember now. I think.
It was like this.
I mean, the one on SMP is like piston here, I think. Piston there with a slab.
Yeah, exactly. So
Um,
you cannot push the block down like an Andrews design.
yeah, the one on SMP is like something like this. It does not have chests for everything because it doesn't need them. Like, it's a restock station. You wouldn't use this for a haul. Unless you're Pala. He did. But
Really? Oh, it hacks, yeah. I mean,
yeah, you've seen V3.100.
well, I mean, yeah, there is. If we mention that there was like. There was some discussion whether. How much of that was like his. Because other people got involved as well, but yeah, I've seen it. It's an incredible haul.
It looks like his wiring.
Well,
Like, it's all wired the exact way that he would do it, I think. Same block palette, same everything. The
I would
text
say
all.
I don't think that's quite original at that time. Like, rank
Oh, I
style
don't know.
origin
I
is quite
haven't-
accurate. Yeah.
I haven't looked into it. I always just assumed it was his.
We got this discussion very recently because, like, apparently something very similar was being developed for Bismuth a very long time ago. I believe by. What's that? I can't recall. Some other old storage stackers. So, like, there was just confusion who this came from. I don't know what came from who to credit. I was just asking, like, maybe you know something.
No, I don't know anything. I thought it was just his.
Yeah, I mean, we all did. Yeah.
Oh well, it's a mystery that no one will ever know. Anyway,
Almost, yeah.
that's about it. Sorry for making you wait 4 hours to see this box display. Having to sit through all the disk drive stuff.
It was worth
I
it,
know, right?
absolutely.
Right. Well, thank you for having me on. Thank you for listening to me yap about shit.
Yeah, thanks for showing the display. The best
You're
part,
welcome.
of course.
Yeah, obviously that's what you're here for. Oh, Andrew's fucked off already. Right, I'm gonna head out. Thank you.
See ya, man.
You're welcome. Yeah,
See ya.
thank you for having me on. See you in a bit.
See ya.
See ya.